We just got a big new Quest 3 update that comes with some long-awaited fixes and awesome new features, as well as some insane VR game news that you really don't want to miss. So let's dive right into it. And starting it off, we have the changes to your VR home. Because with this new 2.6 update, Meta has now finally made it possible for your view in VR to follow your real head's height. And that basically means that if you sit or crouch, then your view will automatically adjust to this instead of staying in a fixed standing position. And while there was already an experimental feature that let you lay down completely, this one is now included from the start and works from any position that you want to use it in. And secondly, the 2.6 also comes with a bunch of bug fixes and stability enhancement, as well as an increase in performance overall. And thanks to this, you should get slightly more even and higher frame rates inside of your games. So that is pretty damn nice. But by far one of the biggest changes that came with this update is that Xbox Game Pass is now included with the Quest headset's Horizon Plus. And for those who don't know, Horizon Plus is Meta's own VR subscription service that lets you play a big library of over 100 VR games with a monthly roster that keeps adding games to this. And now, Zuckerberg has announced that their partnership with Microsoft has finally unlocked the Xbox Game Pass Starter Edition for all those Quest users with Horizon Plus. And this essentially adds over 50 non-VR games, such as Fallout or DayZ, and many more, to this total list of playable experiences as well. And the best thing is that this won't cost anything extra at all. However, there is one caveat, and that is that this Xbox Game Pass Starter version will only give you 10 hours of cloud gaming each month. Luckily though, there is a way to work around this by simply directly downloading these games to an Xbox console or a Windows PC, and in that way, you could stream them to your Quest headset without any limits. But even if you don't have these, keep in mind that this still lets you play Xbox games on your headset without spending a single extra cent. Although, while it has already been possible for a while to use the general Game Pass on your Quest, this still marks the first time that it gets bundled in together with Horizon Plus. But the news didn't stop there, since we also saw the release of the long-awaited Discord application for the Meta Quest headsets. However, on launch, it sadly got a lot of negative reviews, thanks to it having a bunch of bugs and glitches that often cause the app to completely crash altogether. But luckily though, after the new 2.6 update, most users are experiencing a lot less crashes and much better performance when it comes to streaming. And on top of that, the developers have also made clear that they are very aware of the problems that it still has, and that a fix will be pushed out as soon as possible. Either way, it is nice that we finally got the Discord app after all this time. And a nice extra is that you can also get Discord Nitro completely for free. With the only downside here is that if you already currently have Nitro or had it in the past, then you cannot claim this one. But there is a workaround, because you could of course always make a new account and in that way still receive Nitro without having to spend a single cent. Just don't forget to take this as soon as possible, since this bonus is only available for a very limited time. But besides all these software updates, we also had some big VR game news that you really don't want to miss. However, before we get into that, let's first have a quick word from the company that made this video possible. Because none other than Cat VR, who are known for creating VR treadmills that look like they come straight out of Ready Player One, are once again taking virtual reality to the next level. Because while we are normally limited by the boundary system inside our VR experiences, it is Cat VR that has created these VR treadmills that let you run and jump without any limitation. And since their most recent version, which is known as the C2 Plus Enhanced, is compatible with every VR headset that you can think of, it is also often considered as the dream upgrade for any VR user. And they even go so far that it has things like haptic feedback built into it, as well as a vehicle hub, which will make it feel even more realistic when you're racing on a track or flying through the sky. And as a cherry on top, you can also use the code VRelity for a whopping $130 off on your entire purchase. So for those who are interested, I'll leave a link in the description below. And that gets us to the VR game news. Now starting it off was the big announcement that the open world exploration game known as Star Rupture is coming to the Meta Quest headsets. And this one actually released in early access first on Steam, where it got some high praise from its over nearly 7,000 reviews. Although, the only thing that is important to keep in mind is that the developers known as Incuvo will be porting this game from the ground up, and these are also the devs behind the ports of Green Hell and Bulletstorm in the past. So this will probably mean that there will be some visual downgrades compared to the PC version of course. Either way though, it is still a very highly anticipated title. And that same can be said for the next one, which is the big free update for the game named Legendary Tales. Now, you might have already heard about this RPG dungeon crawler before, because it has some pretty great combat in its campaign mode that can either be played in co-op or solo. And to make things even better, they have now also added a new sandbox mode to the game, as well as a so-called friendly fire feature. But best of all is that directly after announcing these new modes, they also showed off their roadmap, featuring more planned updates, such as a boss rush and a roguelike DLC. So, if you played this one a while back, or if you were still thinking of diving into it, then now is the perfect time. And while talking about big game updates, we got a brand new version of the popular Forefront as well. And this is the 32-player first-person shooter experience that took the Quest headsets by storm. Because not only does it have some very unique mechanics that let you do nearly anything you can imagine, they also released a big new stream of free new content with each iteration. And now, with their 4.0.153, the players can embark on a brand new desert-based conquest map called Yova, as well as use a bunch of new weapons and mechanics, such as being able to drag the perished players around the battlefield. And that is not even mentioning the many small other features that can be seen in its patch notes. Oh, and of course, I'll also make sure to leave a link to all the games in this video, as well as some nice discounts down in the description below, so make sure not to miss out on those. But moving on, we got the Quest 3 release of none other than RoboQuest VR. And this is from Flat2VR Studios that have now finally brought this acclaimed roguelike shooter to Meta's platform, alongside a major new feature that enables crossplay with PC VR and PlayStation VR headsets. So, no matter what hardware your friends are rocking, you'll be able to team up in its 2-player cooperative missions and even share each other's campaign progression. So, while it might have taken some extra time after its delays, the studio has made sure to polish up this game and make it look absolutely great on the Quest headsets. Although, what it makes it really stand out is the art style, which uses some really crisp looking cel-shaded graphics. And surprisingly, they managed to port this over without having to downgrade the visuals a lot. And instead, RoboQuest really manages to pop on that Meta screen just like it does on its PlayStation VR 2 and Steam VR versions. And next up, we had the big news that the first-person Quest MOBA known as Starvault is going to get a PC version as well. And this is actually pretty special, because while most of the time we see some big PC VR games getting their own Quest standalone port, it is not often that we see a successful Quest game get a full-on PC release as well. However, this was thanks to Starvault's unexpected success that with its gameplay made it for a lot of people feel like the League of Legends in virtual reality. And of course, another reason that this game got so popular is because besides its awesome looking graphics, there ain't no pay to win in-game currencies or anything like that at all. So all that you have to do is just find your own favorite champion and battle it out in this multiplayer arena. So if you normally already enjoy a good MOBA, then you can't go wrong with Starvault. But that is not all, because besides these games, there are also some awesome single-player VR experiences on the MetaQuest headsets that you need to know about. So click on the video that you see on screen right now to make sure you don't miss out on that. And of course, stay awesome.